I didn't even apply. I was recruited.
What I tell you? I said back in the day, them black folks wasn't applying for Survivor. They went and plucked them out of different environments and said, let's get this one.
I had never even seen an episode of Survivor. So
we were going to ask you about Ozzy. His season was right before yours, but the way you told us,
he ain't never seen it anyways.
Yeah, I didn't even know anything. I remember seeing a picture of something of him, and I said, "Is your name Ozzy?"
Well, welcome back in, everyone. This is Black Girls Talking TV, where we bring the group chat to life and discuss all your favorite TV shows. Today is all about Survivor 50, episode 11, featuring Mr. Earl from the original Fiji season of Survivor, Survivor 14. I am Victoria. I am one of your hosts, and I'm a psychologist.
And I am Earl Cole, and I am the CEO and founder of the Smart Tire Company.
All right. Took that million and did some things with it, okay? I'm Kamaria. I'm an attorney and a pop culture writer. And before we get into this episode, make sure you make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and be in the comments because we have a legend with us today. You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, we are going to do our normal recap of Survivor that you're used to after this interview with Earl. But since Earl hasn't watched the season, we wanted to make sure that we got y'all a full recap of the episode, but also got you all of the wonderful things, the gems he dropped. It was so amazing. He's such a genuine soul and we really appreciated it. So we're going to start off the episode with this interview from Earl. But if you want to watch the recap of me and Victoria talking about the episode, you can jump to this timestamp. We encourage you to literally watch it. He was dropping gems. Not only is he a millionaire.
It was a great conversation.
Yes. He's a millionaire from this show, and he just had so much life advice. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. All right, let's bring on Earl.
Without further ado,
yes. Enjoy.
First and only all black tribal council. You know what I'm saying? Like, lots of things. First black male winner. Like, you just have a lot of Survivor stats, you know?
Yeah, no, period.
We're excited to talk more about the episode with you. I know you haven't been keeping up with 50 in particular. So we're going to do a little mashup today and have like a little bit of you in here and a little bit of us. But we're excited to chat with you. So first, what even pushed you in the beginning to apply for Survivor? What made you want to play?
Well, I was one of those rare cases where I didn't even apply. So I was recruited.
What I tell you? Mr. Earl, I said this a couple episodes ago. I said back in the day, I said them black folks wasn't applying for Survivor. They went and plucked them out of different environments and said, let's get this one.
I had never even seen an episode of Survivor. So
You're
I was at a
kidding
restaurant.
me.
Yeah, I was at a restaurant on a date. And they actually recruited me for Amazing Race.
Oh.
So they wanted me to do that, but I end up not doing that. And they said, well, we'll keep your number and everything. I was like, all right. And then last minute, they called me and said, hey, you ever heard of Survivor? I was like, I heard of it. And they say, like, we got a spot that just opened up. Somebody dropped out last minute. Can you do it? I was on my way to work. This was a Thursday. I was on my way to work. And I was like, you mean that show on the island? Like what?
Wow.
I was like, so I got to work and I was saying, yeah, he asked me to do this show. And then I talked to my boss and he was like, just do it.
That's
He said,
nice.
you never know. He said, well, if you do it, make sure you win. He was just like that,
That's so awesome.
Actually, I worked at a black advertising agency at the time. And so he was all supportive. Shout out to, the late, great Joe Muse. And so that was a Thursday. Friday, I did all of the testing because I didn't even know. I said, when do I have to go? They said, oh, you got to leave on Sunday. No training, hadn't seen Survivor. And it wasn't like you can just go online and just start watching Survivor. I didn't know anybody from Survivor, so nothing about it. And so took all the tests, and next thing I was gone on Sunday. I didn't even know we were going to Fiji until I got on the plane.
This is so fascinating.
Yes.
I didn't know where I was going, but I was like, hey, I was young. I was up for the adventure. I said, let's do it.
Wow. How was your experience? Like as a whole, how was it?
I went in, it was weird because when you get there, there's these gag order things and you kind of, I'm not sure if I tell you the details of Survivor. So you're there for a few days before it starts. And so you see all these people, but but I don't know who's who. They said you're not allowed to talk to them. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So
Ponderosa.
yeah, it was the Ponderosa thing. I didn't know what anything was called. I was like, oh, look at all these
Yeah.
people. Like, what? I didn't know it was producers, it was cast members. They said don't talk to anybody. So everybody's sizing each other up and all that. And I was like, ain't no black people really here though. I said, oh, that's just a few of us. But I said, all right. And then next, in the middle of the night, they would say, all right, time to go. Like just randomly. And then we were on a truck and then a boat, blindfolded. And next thing you know, you're on the island and then you can talk for the first time. And I was like, so how do you play this game, y'all? That was like my first thing. They was like,
Wow.
they're like, who this dude? So it was kind of like,
Wow.
That is so
That's
fascinating. It's like I
amazing.
want to get into
Yeah.
more of that. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
was
What an
like,
example of if you just take the shot when it comes, you
yeah,
know?
you got to prepare yourself for any opportunity. And I lived in LA, so you just never know what happened in LA. And I would say I was just one of those kind of circumstances, being in the right place at the right time, having the right look. I guess they were trying to find somebody that I think a black male had dropped out last minute. And the season before they did the division by races and all that. So I remember I saw marketing stuff about that or a commercial like randomly or something. And so they were trying to have that even split again, but kind of have it mixed up. And so, five of each. And somebody in Sacramento, some guy in Sacramento had dropped out like 2 days before, and they were scrambling trying to find somebody. And I took the call. And look at that.
So
interesting.
Look at golf.
I
yeah,
know,
no,
right?
honestly, yeah, life changed
I
forever
know.
from one yes, one yes.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
all you need, that's all you need is one yes. I tell people all the time, like when you're even in the job market, there, a lot of people get discouraged and I'm like, you only need one to work out. So you just have to keep trying
That's
until
right.
that one works out. It's the same thing with dating. It's the same thing with a lot of things. You just need one, So
Absolutely.
what a
Absolutely.
testimony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were y'all were like the cookout a little bit before the cookout. I don't know if you know the cookout from Big Brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all were like
I was
early.
telling everybody when I heard about that cookout, I was like, they are not the first ones to do that. I was like, I was like,
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
probably say I was the first to do that.
You
Yeah.
were. You were. Did
I
y'all
wouldn't
speak
even,
about it or was it just like a
it was
unspoken
it was
rule?
very intentional. So, when I got there, I'd heard rumors about, the season before and how, the tribe against this tribe, and it didn't work out with the black tribe. I was like, I think I get it together. Like I said, I'm gonna do it different. I was told him, I said, hey, it was a lot of unspoken. So like, we gonna do this. But on camera, I said like my goal is to get all black people to the end. I said that the first episode. I think they cut that out though because they don't put that.
Oh
Probably,
yeah, they definitely
probably.
didn't show that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't
but
show
I
none of
said
that.
that was my goal was
Mm,
for that because I had heard about the history of Survivor. Because I learned
mm-hmm,
a lot while I was there by asking people questions.
mm-hmm,
And I said like, okay, we're gonna do something different this time. So
mm.
together
Yeah.
we gonna do this.
That's how you know that's a
Yeah.
smart man because like not knowing how the game was played and you came in
Right.
and won it, asking the questions, asking the right questions. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then the leadership, right? And the courage to say, well, you know what? We're
Yeah.
going to go against the grain and make sure this gets done because
Yeah.
it's not easy to do that sometimes, and especially when you got $1 million on the line.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It
But
doesn't
let me
matter.
tell you,
Yeah. That million.
when I watched your season back in the day, because I've like recently, not like super recently, but
Mm.
more in my adult conscious brain, rewatched some of the seasons and rewatching yours, I was just like, oh, they mad. They mad because y'all had a tough final tribal council. I'm like, they ain't got no choice but to grant one of y'all $1 million. So let's see what they
Oh,
do with this. And they was not happy about it, but it was the most like just exhilarating and like thrilling moments for me watching Survivor, to see you guys do that and the way they was coming at y'all, and it was just like y'all can say whatever y'all want. One of us is walking out of here though with $1 million.
yeah, yeah.
You
It was
can't change the fact that the legacy has been changed for somebody sitting up here. So say what you got to say, but it don't matter.
yeah, it's funny because we didn't even know it was going to be a final three. So we were prepared for a final two. I didn't even know how any of it really worked, but I told people like, hey, when we get to the top five, it's kind of every person for themselves, and we'll get it all figured out. But I still had what I wanted, and when we got that final three like that, I said, all right, you can only bet on black. So which one is it going to be?
No, yeah,
So,
that's
you
that's
know,
amazing.
I want to correct things. So our tribe mates, our other castaways, they were not mean or anything like that. They were told to like make them earn it, like really go in on them. You
The
know,
producers,
yeah,
Yeah, because that's
God.
crazy.
go in. So I want to make sure, like, they were cool people, nice people.
Nice people, I got
Okay.
you.
They
Yeah.
did go in hard though. But
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How many zeros in $1 million?
I wasn't worried. It's funny how people change. The closer you get to that $1 million, man, it starts getting crazy. How people talk to each other. How people just start forget alliances. They don't even care.
Yeah, so that's a perfect like segue into this episode because like right now, I don't know if you know, so because we know you're not keeping up with 50 that much, but did you know that the pot now is 2 million for this season? Did you know that?
I did hear about
Okay.
that. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I think we're seeing sort of the beginning of that. So basically, in this episode, what happened is they split into two tribes. And Jonathan, I'm not sure if you're familiar with his game or how much Survivor you watched since your season, but Jonathan won the immunity challenge, and they had 9 people left, and they were going to split into two with 4 people on each side, and Jonathan could go in the middle and cast a vote for each tribe. And he was going back and forth. And one tribe was Cirie, Tiffany, Rick Devens, and Emily. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with all the names, if you how much of Survivor you still watch, but Cirie, GOAT. And so on the other side, we had Ozzy, also a quintessential Survivor player, and we had Aubrey. We had who else? We had Victoria.
Joe and Rizzo.
Joe and Rizzo. Rizzo's a new player. He's from last season. Nice spunky kid. But that is the split. And we were scared that Cirie was gonna go home, but she didn't end up going home. Emily, one of the newer players who was plotting against Cirie, she went home. And then on the other side, on the Rizzo's team, Ozzy went home. And that was a big one. So everybody has been, I don't know if you knew that. Did I break the news for you or
No,
you saw
I did.
it?
Social media, I can't hide from anything.
Yes.
Everything pops up. I say, "Oh, Ozzy got voted out."
Yeah, Ozzy went home and with an idol in his
With the idol.
pocket.
Yes.
That happens all the time. I mean, I'm
Yes.
familiar with James back in the day, who I think
That's one of
Yeah.
her
He had
favorites.
two.
yeah,
Two.
2 idols. So it's tough because you try to hold on to those idols as long as you can to
Mm-hmm.
try to be strategic with you, and
Mm-hmm.
because I played an idol. A lot of people don't even remember that
Mm.
I actually played an idol. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you played at Yamin. Y'all was it same
Yeah,
Yamin? Am I
he
saying that
played
right?
one because I had two, and him and I found one together, and I said, all right, you keep this one, and then I kept the other one, and then he had to play his, and I didn't even have to really play mine, but it was the last time to play it, and so I played an idol, but it didn't mean anything because no votes were coming my way anyway. But that our season was the first time that you can only play the idol before the votes, because before that, like Yule season, you could play it after the votes. So that was a very powerful idol then, and that's why they changed it around. So now you're like guessing, and that's why the Ozzy thing can happen now. Which
Yeah,
sucks.
no.
I like Ozzy, and he's a legend.
Yeah, no, we were gonna ask you a little bit about your familiarity with Ozzy because like his season was right before yours, but the way they film it, it probably didn't even air. But the way you told us,
Right. He
you
ain't never
didn't
seen
even
it
know.
anyways.
Yeah, I didn't even know anything. I just like I saw the promotions like everybody else about it because I think at that time this is man early 2000s. Um, Survivor commercials would air after the Super Bowl. So if you watch the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl, they actually show a Survivor commercial and all that. And so that's how I learned, everybody knew what Survivor was. That's why I learned about the whole being split up by race and things like that. But I didn't know who was who. But Ozzy was one of the first players I met before I even went to the live finale that I won. I was at a party and I was there and I remember seeing a picture of something of him. And I said, "Is your name Ozzy?" And he said, "Yeah." And I told him, I said, "I just got back from the island." He was like, "What?" Yeah. It was crazy conversation because I remember I said, "You lost by one vote, huh?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Aww.
And that's
Man.
losing by one would have to suck. Like, and
Yeah.
losing sucks. Getting voted out. I mean, I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine all that heart and soul you put into the game and all these alliances. And you got to remember it's a game. It's not friendships. people are going to lie, cheat, steal, do whatever they can, and it's hard for certain players to navigate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard some stories that people have a rough time after these types of losses. But, sometimes I put it in the perspective of like how many chances sometimes do you get to be that close to $1 million, even just going out on the island, being one of 15 to 20 people, that's like a one in a lifetime
yeah,
opportunity.
absolutely,
Um,
That's
absolutely.
probably why it feels so worse. Oh, like it
yeah.
probably is like
Yeah,
Jesus.
I'm saying that's why
Like
they had
this,
like
the
it could
PTSD. I
be
think you were the one who was
traumatic.
telling me, yeah, that a lot of people, players have a lot of
Yeah,
PTSD
it's
coming back.
a lot of trauma that you get from that. That's why they have you speak to a psychiatrist right afterwards. You know,
They do.
yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely. You have to talk to a therapist before and after because they want to. You
That's
talk to someone
good.
before because they want to make sure you're not crazy. Like, because you're in dangerous situations. Like, I remember standing on a cliff. I said, if I was crazy, I could just jump off.
Absolutely.
Right? But
Yeah.
just have to
Absolutely.
make sure you're not, on that level. Uh,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and there's the trauma afterwards. Because the feeling of betrayal people feel, and like your time has come to an end. It's rough. I can imagine how hard that is. And so that's why they have you talk to a therapist first. You talk to a producer,
Yeah.
therapist, and then then eventually you have to get over it. Then some people never do. They never get over it.
Like
It's,
Yeah.
Charlie, I don't know if you're familiar. Like, how much of Survivor did you watch afterwards? Like, were you like,
I
I was
watched,
in and I never really watched it
yeah,
again?
because then we didn't have the option of watching old seasons.
Oh,
That
true,
wasn't even
true.
a thing to do that. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
I watched the season afterwards to see
Hmm.
like, I want to make sure like, did I do something different from anybody else? And so I watched Survivor China. That was like the only thing I watched.
Oh, really?
That was the only thing
Yeah.
I watched. And I watched.
China's one of my favorite
Yeah,
seasons.
yeah. Shout out to Todd, and I watched a few after that, and then you just get busy and
No.
family, and you start watching Game of Thrones and stuff like that. You start
Oh,
watching all these other shows as
yeah.
well, and so it's on my list of Survivor. I usually watch it after the season's already aired, and I just kind of skip through it.
Right. It's like 50 seasons. I like, but I will say that I didn't start watching Survivor. I've been watching Big Brother since I was like a kid, but like I didn't start watching Survivor until like right after like law school or something like that. And I was just like, oh, life, what is happening? And I binge watched them. And I know that sounds so
What?
crazy,
That
but
is
I
great.
binge watched them. I think I started on like season 32 or 26, like somewhere up in the 20s or 30s. And I
Yeah,
binge watched them throughout, like not at once, like a weekend or anything, because you can't even, like, it's just too many hours of episodes. But I did go back and watch all of them, except the first. I know people like I guess that's the one you should watch, but that's the one I didn't watch. I've never watched the
I haven't
first
seen
one.
that one either. But I know that
Yeah.
is supposed to be the blueprint of how it all
Yeah.
started. But
Yeah.
back then, I'm sure it was hard. They didn't know what they were getting into.
For
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
I wouldn't even say it's the blueprint anymore
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
not because it's changed, and now it's what
Mhm.
yeah.
26 days.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
even
oh, that ain't right. I was like, we feel slighted. Us that did the 39 days.
39.
Anything
Yeah.
can happen between day 26 and 39. Like literally anything can happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's done after 26, like man, I lost 35 pounds in 39 days.
Not
Wow.
30. 30. You said 39.
Yeah,
Right.
like,
Wow.
all the way to 39. But I get it. I know it's production stuff, and so
Yeah. Well, let's chat about Cirie a little bit. Like, what has been or was your experience with her? Because, like I said, that was a big part of this episode. Like, is she going to go home? Because Emily had
Yeah.
the tricks up her sleeve with them votes, you know.
I'm
But
rooting
she
for
had an
Cirie.
extra vote, which is why she ended up being
Why she didn't
safe.
go? Yeah, that's why she
Yeah.
saved
Yeah, I
herself.
know they have a lot of additives now, a lot of
Yeah.
different things that you can put in play and all of that. And I remember having conversations with producers back in the day. I was like, you guys got to start mixing it up with, adding some new things and different kind of idols and bring
Uh-huh.
back players. I remember having that conversation. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Ah.
okay. And now they're doing it. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to see that. But, Cirie has been on there. Oh, man, how many times have you been on there? It's been a lot.
5? Is this her
I think
5th
it's her fifth
time?
time if you also count Australia.
Well, I think Australia's not 6, but I don't know.
Oh,
Somewhere
wow.
around there. She's been on there a lot.
But I hope she can do it this time around because if you've given yourself to this show that many times, just like with Ozzy, I said like I would want them to get the prize, kind of like the Boston Rob thing. I think
Yeah.
it's fifth time on there. He finally finally won. I hope that Cirie can do it.
We hope so too.
Yeah.
It's
I sometimes think if I was ever playing, would I just want to just let her go to the end for just like the sake of the legacy of it all,
$1 million,
you know?
I don't know. I think people was
Yeah,
they
I
not
know, but it's 2 million.
like
That's what I'm saying. Like
$1
it's
million. You're not letting you gonna question all alliances, all friendships. Like, hey, do I even like you that much now? It's like you're gonna really ask yourself a lot of things. It's $2 million. $1 million is a lot. It's not that much out here in California, but
yeah.
it's a
And
lot.
after taxes, it's
Oh
like
yeah,
yeah,
last season's winner. Her name was Savannah. I just saw her
Savannah.
on a podcast talking about how after the million, like 380,000 went to taxes. So she got a portion of that. But this 2 million,
Yeah, you're guaranteed to at least walk home with $1 million
oh,
in your pocket.
yeah. And a lot of people don't. So the way it works, I don't know if anybody ever explained this. So right after you win in the live finale, they give you the check right there, like a real check. And so you get a check for the full amount. Taxes aren't out, so you get the full amount of the check. So I won in May. So tax season was already over. So I had a whole year of investing that to make up for the taxes that were coming out. That's what I did.
that's
So I said,
great.
by
That's
the time I paid my
smart.
taxes, I was still at the same amount because I'd moved money around a certain way. And I'll tell people like that's how you do it, but it depends on
Yeah.
when you
When
win.
you win.
If you
No,
get that
Yeah.
check
that's
in December, tax man right around the
It's
corner.
over with.
So you might as
Yeah,
well hand
yeah.
him that money.
yeah,
Yeah. But
wow.
but it once if you invest into something, isn't that untaxable money? So like if you put away a portion,
Yeah.
you can at least
And
be
there's
untaxed.
so many, it always take money to make money. It's that
Yeah,
all
yeah.
changed. And when you get a certain amount, you can just put it in mutual funds. You can move stuff around. People are doing real estate. And actually, and then the interest that you're making on it as well. And by the time that whole year go by, if you're just, not being frivolous and, buying a bunch of stuff. I didn't buy it. I kept my same Honda that I had.
Great.
I was keeping it cool. I said, hey, I retired for almost 10 years after that. Like I was chilling. I was just traveling the world.
That's
Wow.
so great.
Yeah.
And I never tell these stories, but I'm telling you. So
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
good. We
Yeah,
have
we
and we
appreciate
have
it.
a predominantly Black audience, and it's a
oh,
knowledge gap, in our community. And like I literally was telling Kamara before we started, I was like, we need to ask him like if he won the $1 million today, how would he go about it? Because
yeah.
that's something that we don't often think about, and how you can keep all of that money in your pocket and then make it grow and grow and grow,
Yeah.
and to work for you instead of having that instant gratification of like, oh, I need the house, I need this, I need that, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, people want to, did I go through like a week of celebration? Sure, I did that. Yeah, you pop the bottles and you do all that stuff like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then you got to stop. It's like if you want it to last, you can't try to impress other people. You can't even worry about that.
Yeah.
You have to invest in yourself and your future on what you want to do. So I wasn't trying to go out and like, all right, I'm gonna go buy a Ferrari. Well, Ferrari that would eat up the whole thing. But and out here in California, I mean, you need at least $1 million just to get a house. So it's a different
Right.
mindset when you're in
Yeah,
LA.
and that's a 3 bedroom home, three,
Oh,
4 bedroom home. That's
you getting a condo, a one bed
yeah,
condo here. It's
Yeah.
it's it's great. So that makes you think a little differently about the money as opposed to like I'm originally from Kansas City. Back in Kansas, oh man, I could have got a five
Bought the
bedroom.
town.
Yeah, with a pool, all that, and I spent $300,000, and I'm still got like no.
Yeah. Well, on that note of like advice to players, like what advice would you give to like players actually going into like season 51 or whatever? Like, do you have advice that you think about in
Sure.
terms of like how you got to the end and how you would advise future players to play the game?
My advice is to always just have a very adaptable plan. I mean, every winner is
Mm.
going to tell you the same thing. You got to be willing to adapt. You have to have a great social game. I think back when I was playing, it wasn't really about a social game as much as like being like athletic and being able to really get through the pain of hunger and starvation and dehydration. Like that's why I got like 26 days. You don't get to like feel it, because you think differently when you on day 5 with no food. Like, people get hangry. and start talking crazy. We had people on our season passing out because we were on day 3 with no water.
Oh yeah, they
No
was trying to
water.
kill y'all. They was.
Well, it was definitely a little more dangerous back then. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Because y'all
I
had to
ain't trying.
actually
I know
boil the
they.
water. Y'all had to
yeah,
boil the
yeah.
Yeah.
water back then.
Yeah, because we had to boil the water because they were telling us, oh, there's parasites in the water. So you got to boil the water before you drink it. I said, okay, well, we can't light a fire because it keep raining. And it's like, how are we going to boil the water? And so that's what kept happening with us until they eventually say, all right, we're going to have to help y'all out because we don't want to,
Yeah.
have an evacuation. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what happened
Yeah.
with us. But, getting back to, my advice is definitely learning how to read the room very well. But I know a lot of people don't have those skill sets. So if you're like in your early 20s, it's kind of harder if you haven't had a job and done a lot of different things to a certain level. I'd already had manager positions and, worked in offices. So I knew how to, talk to people, different types of people. If you don't have that experience, it's a little harder for you. That's why I think that sweet spot for winning survivors, like between the age of 26 and 35, like you just got enough life experience, and you know when to be quiet. Because sometimes when you're young, you don't know when to be quiet, and so it's a lot of push and pull. So you just have to, again, adapt, try to put people around, notice people's personalities, and try to use that as a chessboard. Like, all right, I know this person is the loudest person, so I got to put them in front more often, while I stay back here. I know this person needs a little, some support, so I got to talk to them a certain way. So you got to really start understanding people. And the way to understand them, you got to talk to them, you know? And the only way to get information from people, you got to reveal stuff about yourself. You got to say something to them, show some vulnerability, and then they'll tell you something. And then you can start getting ahead of their decision making. It's like, all right, I know how they are. So I know if they're in this situation, they're going to start thinking like this. This person's going to panic more. This person. And I started figuring that out, as time went by. And I was like, okay. And then you start putting everything together, like, all right, I see my path to the end. I see like 5 different ways I can get there. If this one don't work, I'm gonna go to this one. If this one don't work, I'm gonna go to this one. So that's kind of how I did it for my season. But every season is
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was excellent. I was
That's good
actually.
life advice. Like that's life advice. That's for all the corporate girlies and fellas out there. That's good life advice. That's soft skills,
yeah, yep, soft skills, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you're up to now. I know you mentioned being a CEO, putting that money to use, and like talk to us a little bit about what life looks like now. We know you're a dad and a husband and all these different things. So,
Yep. So yeah, that's my life now. I have 2 daughters. I'm married with 2 daughters. So I have an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old. So they, yeah, it's a lot. So I'm outnumbered in this house with females, but it's
yeah.
great. I wouldn't change a thing. I love every part of this. It's just like this that next phase of my life. When I was on Survivor, and I always wonder like how would I have played if I was playing for other people. Like my goal is like I want to make my mother proud. My family. But now it's like all right, when you have a wife and kids, like when you don't see your kids for all that amount of time, like I wonder how that affects you emotionally and psychologically. And a little fun fact is, and you might know, were we the first season where we didn't have a family episode? So everybody was talking about it on our season, like, oh man, yeah, we'll try to make it to the family. So let's try to get that far. And then when that part was supposed to happen, it was just dead space, and no one told us, no producers. We were like, we didn't do anything for like 3 days, like nothing, no challenges, nothing. We're like, what are we supposed to do? And so we learned later that there was some political unrest in Fiji, and there was a coup that happened. So it was like AK-47s and all that. So we were leaving, and so that's why, like, because I thought, I wanted to see my mother there and all that stuff, and everybody wanted to see certain family members. My mother had never even been out of the country, so I said, "Oh, it's gonna be a big deal for her to, And then it didn't happen. All still worked out. It was great, but just so you know, yeah, it was a weird thing not having family. I know it's a big part of Survivor. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of just cut it out now. So like
Right.
it's not yeah. They just
Oh,
get letters now. Even
Mhm.
sometimes they don't get letters, to be honest.
Yeah.
really?
Unless
Um
Yeah,
they win a challenge most of the time.
really?
So
Yeah.
it's
And
not even everybody gets a
we
letter.
had that where if you win a challenge, I think they got letters, but I think I gave up that reward because I was big on like y'all go. Even though he won, y'all go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
be back here watching for it, because I was willing to do. I was always long term plan, not the instant gratification. Not like, hey, it's all right. I ain't ate this long. I can go a couple more days not eating. It's fine. A few more
Yeah.
days of this. What's they say? Short term pain, long term gain. Something like
Gain,
whatever
yeah.
that saying is. I was big on
Mhm.
that. And so and that worked out. And I'm sorry I diverted from your question. I don't even remember what the original question.
No, I was saying like what you up to now? You start talking about the
Oh yeah, yeah,
family
yeah,
and all
yeah.
the different things and
Yeah,
your career wise,
yeah,
all that.
yeah. So career right, yeah. So I work. Well, it is my company, so it's a tire company. But I have a space degree with NASA, so I work with NASA. So I do things for Artemis.
Mhm.
Right now, I know you saw the Artemis 2. That if you are familiar, if you keep up with space at all. But yeah, and so I work on Artemis projects and other aerospace projects. So I work at a tire company, but it's originally from technology for Mars, for Mars rovers, and so now our focus is more on the moon. So if anybody doesn't know that, they're building a full international space station on the moon, a moon base, all that stuff, rovers, robots. So all that's happening.
Wow.
And so I position myself and my company to be like the Goodyear of the moon. So all these
Wow.
rovers, everything like that with the astronauts drive, they're going to need tires. And so we have a certain technology to where it's an airless tire. We use a certain kind of material it doesn't go flat and it can go in space and all that. And so that's the space stuff that I do. So we're using that technology to bring that here on Earth. So we're going to be doing bicycle tires, scooter tires, and then eventually cars, trucks, and stuff like that. So just imagine never getting a flat ever again, and your tires work as longer than your vehicle does, and you don't ever have to worry about it. So that's what we're doing.
Well, that is so
And
amazing
that's
and
on Black men
fascinating.
in STEM, okay? That is,
Right,
see, and this
right.
is why we need, this is the innovators, okay?
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. That's very dope. Very, very dope.
Right. I'm like, I got a bike in here that I ain't driven since last summer because it's got a flat and I
Yeah,
haven't. I'm
flat. It
like,
just
how
so you
how
would
to
never have to deal with that again. And it's funny, people, it's not a sexy industry.
Yeah.
Tires are everywhere and on everything. That's a
Yeah.
$300 billion industry that hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
But they say you got to do the ugly stuff. That's where the longevity is at. You don't need
That
the
is
fancy business.
that is the real money. I mean, AI is big right now too, but see, AI can't do this. AI can't build a tire, and that's why we're getting more attention now because AI is big, and it is. We use AI for certain design models and certain engineering that we might do, but hardware and deep tech is that's long money. So the last 100 years have been pneumatic tires. So the tire that you're familiar with is a tube filled with air and all that stuff. So we're changing that whole thing. So I'm looking at the next 100 years.
Mm,
So
yeah.
to have something like that, like I don't even want to get it all shit out, but if you want to know more about our
Yeah.
company, smarttire.com. It's very
I know
easy.
that's right.
I
You'll see my
know.
face just like that right there in the front.
Yeah.
Yep, it's me. Yes, I'm this. And yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Congratulations. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
All these gems you dropping on the young folks, this is another testament. Longevity. You got to think about the future. You can't
always.
be all the time right here about stuff. You got to think about the long-term plan.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
You have a lot of amazing things. We really enjoyed this conversation with you. Tell the people where they can find you. Are you on the Twitter? Are you on Blue Sky? Like, are you on social media? Or just look you up at the website that you gave?
Yeah, smarttire.com. Yes, we're always raising money if anybody's
Yeah.
interested in that. No, you can find me on the socials. So I'm on Instagram at Earl Cole Does. That's my handle there. I'm not on Twitter anymore. So
Mm,
exchange
same.
hands. And so I have not been active on the X platform.
Yeah.
Sky, I think I have an account, but I don't use it. Threads,
Hmm.
I'm on there, but I don't use that. TikTok, I'm on there, but I don't use that very much. So I'm really mainly on Instagram. I do have a Facebook account, to keep in touch with high school people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, you can reach me directly through Instagram, which is
All
fine.
right.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Mr. Earl. It was a pleasure. We definitely appreciate it, and it's been a great conversation. Make sure y'all listen back a couple times for all the life gems that he dropped. There was a few in there. You can't miss wisdom when it's being fed to you for free. Okay.
And I normally don't talk about Survivor or anything like that, but I've been trying to do a little bit more since this season 50. But I mean, I don't think I interviewed for anything like 10 years.
Wow.
Talk about it or anything. I was just too focused on
No,
happy to do it for you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. And it's been amazing. My sister was like, girl, where's your episode at? I was like, okay, we got a little fans out here waiting for us. Because this was a episode that you want to talk about. So talk with us in the comments. But yeah, like, where to begin?
Let's start with the Ozzy of it all. Like, Ozzy went out with an idol in his pocket, and like the foreshadowing through this episode, even with Cirie saying Ozzy likes to go out with idols in his pockets, I was just like, if this happens to Ozzy again, I felt the secondhand trauma. Okay. I felt it through the screen, and I'm like, Ozzy, you had this reflective moment about your father. Then you came and got a visit from the ancestors in the dream. You was feeling it in the intuition, and you did not act on it. And I know he's that within itself, like he's beating himself up about it. So I'm not like trying to go in on the man, but I'm like, you've been out there in that Mexican soil, baby, connecting with the earth and the ancestors and where you from. But when you get the signals, you gotta listen to them. You gotta listen to them. That was the moment to, like, it was clear. It was clear. It was clear. And you was up there with your ops in the dream. You was in the dream with Coach. That was a clear sign. You are in danger. You're not safe.
No, it was a lot. And I was like, see, that's that 2 million, because Rizzo, I think he's trying to cut Cirie down in this move. Like, just point blank. I don't think it was just about Ozzy. I personally think it's a little bit about weakening Cirie as well. And not like, so I'm a little concerned about it, but I was torn. I wasn't sure whether I wanted Ozzy to go or not, because I was like, Ozzy, as I've said before, please go back if you haven't seen it. I said, Ozzy worries me because he talks too much, and I think he's going to kind of mess with Cirie's game because he don't know how to move. And this whole thing with the Aubrey and telling her, like, Aubrey was like, child, this man, he done, it's too much. And so that part, I was kind of, I was like, maybe he should go, because like, I don't need him tanking Cirie's game. And so I'm still kind of torn as to whether it's good or not for Cirie.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That was my opinion as well. Like, personally, like, I like Ozzy, and so I wanted to see him, go a little bit further. He's not my winner pick. I'm team Cirie, team Tiffany all day, more so like Cirie just for the legacy of it all. But I was just like, this was the part right here where, when you were speaking about your weaknesses before the season started, where you were supposed to have some type of strategy before you speak. This is when that was supposed to kick in, because getting cocky in a game like this with $2 million on the line. A lot of people, they be a little, these returners, well, this season specifically, that little $1 million ain't been having too many people on edge. But when they said 2, baby, the game is on. The game is on. And so you cannot get too comfortable thinking that you can give somebody your final tribal council arguments before a final tribal council. You still got 8 people in the game in front of you. Even if you make it to that final 3, you still got to be able to out talk the 2 next to you. So you're not supposed to be giving up all your jewels and your secrets before you get there, when you don't even know if it's gonna be Aubrey out. You might be sitting next to Aubrey. Like, you don't know in a game where things change on the second. And I'm just like, Ozzy, like, my brother, like, and even saying that, like, there's so many ways to secure your jury votes without doing all of that. You don't have to lay out your entire game. It could have just been a simple, like, it seems like it's you. I wish it wasn't. Like, I would like to play with you. Like, do you feel like there's any other avenues for you? Because I can tell you right now, like, right now they're thinking you know?
And also, it's like, when has this worked? Like, when has this actual method worked? And so it makes me question, like, Ozzy, are you watching all the seasons since your seasons? Like, are you? Because we've seen this exact method backfire. I don't know who it was with, but we've seen this exact thing happen. That's how when I saw him do that to Aubrey and her look at the camera, I said, oh, yo, this is about to happen to Ozzy. But yeah, let's talk about like Cirie and trying to get Ozzy the message, Jonathan going back and forth and stuff like that. I was wondering, I was like, is there a way that Cirie could have given her code name?
Word.
Yeah. I was like, but then I was thinking to myself, I was like, if the code word was something like, let's say coconuts, it's like, what could you say that wasn't obvious? Like, ask Ozzy if they got enough coconuts over there or something like that. And it's like, you know, why that would suss Jonathan out or whatever. So I was trying to figure out. You said what?
I said, would it have?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
let me not play that man for a fool, but I was thinking, like, was there a direct message you could give him, or just be like, well, if it is him, if I was to wrap up, like, if it is him, like, I'm okay with it. Just let him know that's, you know, I
got coconuts on the other side for him.
Yes, yes, I got a coconut
but
for
I guess you
waiting
don't
for
say
him.
that because they weren't telling him that it was him. But also, I just feel like, I just feel like, I don't know. I just wondered if there was a thing, and her relying on Rizzo. I think that made sense, like her, because she did try to maneuver, like, no, tell Rizzo, have him tell Rizzo, and so I think she thought that was gonna just be enough, and Rizzo understood. That's why I say this was $2 million coming out and telling Rizzo.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but.
So, I'm unclear as to how loyal he's going to be moving forward to Cirie.
It probably might have if he did not speak. Rizzo, he has proven that he's a loyal player, and he finds his people and he sticks by them. And I think he would have stuck by Ozzy and Cirie, specifically, maybe more so Cirie. But like,
I hope so.
I think so. I think the problem was he opened his mouth. Like, Rizzo don't like that.
I guess
Rizzo don't like that.
I just feel like even if he opened his mouth, I don't think that there is. I think Aubrey being gone is better for them numbers wise, because I'm counting these numbers. And side note, did not realize Jonathan was on the team. Okay, because I've been talking mad shit about Jonathan. Jonathan was the only reason Cirie is still here. I just knew he was going to team up with Emily and Devens, and Cirie ass was going to be gone. The level of breath of fresh air I had when I was like, oh, Jonathan's on our team? Okay.
Yeah. Well, a part of that I think is because he ain't got no choice, because he knows that Emily Devens' side is a sinking ship. He knows they're too chaotic, and he don't like chaos. If they wasn't chaos and they was over there with the cut cloth, he would have been right over there with them. So I think it's that, because he was trying to get Cirie out episode 2. Okay.
Yeah. So when Dee was in there. Yeah. No, agreed. But it was a breath of fresh air, because at first I just thought she was a goner, you know. So do we want to hop over to the Cirie camp side of the vote and everything? Emily, I was like, ooh, Cirie.
Yeah. I was scared.
Gotta know.
I was on the edge of my seat. Like, the tears were already forming. Okay, like, really? The heaviness that I had in my chest, because I was just like, this is some shit. Like, this right here is some shit for Cirie to end up on an island with somebody with an idol, with people who aren't necessarily working with her, when you have smaller numbers, and so there is less odds of something going crazy, right? Like, if they just had all the sense in the world, they would have they could have taken the shot, and it would have been a good shot. It would have been a good shot. It would have just been like the numbers were there, and you didn't have to deal with all of these different factors, and everybody would have been like, okay, well, at least you did it, and now we ain't got to worry about it no more. You know,
taking a shot at Cirie.
Yes, yeah. I was on the edge of my seats, so nervous. I literally was like threatening, and when it didn't happen, I was like, play with her, but don't motherfucking play with her. You heard? Like,
I was like, it's so crazy that Ozzy's advantages like had the potential to save them both during this situation.
Yes.
And he just didn't play his. But Cirie, I mean, I do think that if they had done two Emily and one Devens, I do think she would have in a revote been,
Yeah. But they took the right risk because they weren't sure where Devens was going to play his idol.
But I think she did that extra vote when she was talking about, I don't know if I'm going to play. I'm going to try to see if I don't have to. Girl, this is the moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had trust in her doggone, like,
please. Yes.
In her senses.
Yeah. Yes. And Emily, when they kept showing Emily saying too much at Tribal, and she was like, I didn't lay down this time. I tried my best to ensure I was going to be here. I think that was the thing that like sparked Cirie. It was like, well, if you know that Devs is going to play the idol for you, why would you need to be doing all this?
Emily talked way too much during that Tribal because I was like, all these things you're saying, you're like, you tried everything.
Right.
I could think of some things that you could try that you haven't mentioned to me. So if you tried everything, it includes probably the stuff that you ain't mentioning to me and that I've been thinking in my head. So I'm going to play my thing so it can be a little tie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter who gets it. Devens could play it for you. You can play it for Devens, whatever. We're going to have a tie today. Okay. Mm-hmm. And worst case scenario, you go to Rocks. Worst case, but they're not going to no doggone Rocks. So, and plus it was an uneven number. So it would have been.
Correct.
It would have been dealt with one way or the other. But yeah.
Now I was surprised that Devens on that revote still voted Cirie. I was like, this your time to make it up and not land that second vote on her ass. But Emily about to go home. She about to go home. Why would you still put Cirie's name down and have to deal with the wrath of Cirie when you get back? You already on the bottom, Devens. Come on now.
Yeah.
I like Devens, so I wanted him to think a little bit more in that decision.
Yeah, speaking of Devens, though, let's talk about him this episode because he was I love him. Like, he was so giddy in the beginning and just so, like, this is how I want to do it. I want to have fun. And then when he said, like, this is what thinking positive gets you, I'm like, that's the season of my life that I'm in. It's like, think positive, girl. And so I really loved him saying that because I do 1,000% agree. But I'm a little afraid, now that he and Aubrey have survived, that it's going to be a new him and Emily situation. And I'm very concerned because where we at? We're at 7 now. Are we at 7 or are we at 8? We're at 7.
Yeah.
We're at 7.
No,
2 going home next week too. You know what I'm saying? 2 going home next week. I'm like.
Yeah. Are we at 7 or 6?
No, we're not at 6. We're at 7. We're at Jonathan.
Right. Because we had 9.
Before,
yes, you're right.
And Jonathan was the middle. Yeah.
Sorry.
So we're at 7, and they're gonna go down next week. 2 more are going.
Yeah.
Now I want to say let's step back and talk about this twist overall, though, and then we gotta talk about the challenge and the Tiffany. So much to talk about, but. This twist overall, when they first did it, I was so pissed. I was like, not these small tribes again. And you're giving one person too much power. Like, this is ridiculous. And I was had fired off a video, all this other stuff. Then by the commercial break, I was like, oh, Jonathan on our side. This video is like already dated. You know what I'm saying? It didn't age well in these 2 seconds. And so this was an episode that we all were on the edge of our seats. And I think it just by luck happened to be that, to be honest, because I just think by luck it happened to be that. But I still think dividing into small tribes, I'm not a fan of. I think this could have gone horribly.
And I think for this season, it's just, of course, this was like exciting, right? Like just as a watcher. But I think in this season, like, just give us the full-fledged. Just say 2 people are going home. Just say 2 people are going home, and let's figure out how that goes. Like,
I think everybody should be voting in the same. Yes. I want to see chaos, and also I want to see them do it at a tribal. Like, I want to see them. That's what is going to be the most chaotic thing. Yeah, is like, have it 1 vote, and then be like, actually, we're voting out 2 people. I wouldn't say people with the most votes, but I don't even know what I would say. They need to send their game tinkerers in there and think about how every iteration could go and like what's the best without also being the worst version of this twist. I don't know, because somebody said Australia, I can't remember who that was, they said Australia does like whoever gets the most votes, and then that's odd because it's like if you want to split the votes or if you want to get out a specific person or if you are fearful of idols, it's like things can backfire, and I'm not a huge fan of it, you know.
Yeah, it would. I felt like it would be a bad twist no matter what, but it would just still be a lot of chaos and.
But I'm saying like they could vote twice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could vote one person out, sit them over there like Emily did, and then they could vote again with now 7 people as opposed to doing one vote to take out everybody. So I'm not sure what's the best drama, but I think it's voting twice personally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, what you said about the twist is what I thought. I was scared. I was happy that Cirie and Tiffany ended up on the same side at the very least. Yeah. So that part I was like, ooh, at least, that's 2 together. You got Devens and Emily on the other side. Jonathan is the swing. Jonathan's been wanting to get out Devens. So I was like, that basically was a saving grace, Yeah. And then him going over to the other side, it's like Joe was telling him, yeah, go ahead and, get out Devens. So I felt like it was already going to swing towards that side, but I was scared when Emily created that plan and they were splitting the vote. That's what got me like, oh shit, like what's about to happen here?
Facts, because I was over there wrapped up in the Ozzy drama, and then when we switched back, and I was like, oh wait, hold on, wait, Cirie may be like in danger. Especially she need to play this extra vote, and so yeah, this episode, just the twilight, the stars aligned because this could have gone horrible, but it actually ended up being the most chaotic and the most like just great. I'm just so happy though, like at least like for Ozzy's sake, that like when he watched it back, he could at least see that Cirie was trying to keep him safe from the other side. Yeah, she was about to get rid of his idol though, but this would have been win-win. Like,
but she needed to still for her game because she didn't want to get out idled. You know what I'm saying? Like that's facts. That within itself would have been her trauma coming back. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that she was trying to get rid of him. He would have been safe. He just would have been safe by using his idol.
Facts. Yeah, he looked dead in Rizzo's face. Rizzo looked dead back at him.
He said, "You talk
and
too
I'm
much."
like, this the thing is, you said what?
He said, "You talk too much."
Yeah, no. I'm talking about before to figure out whether he should use the idol. He looked back at him, and but both times, he was done. But yeah, let's talk about the challenge a little bit because at first we thought it was Tiffany, and then it came back and it wasn't her. But this is what I said. I said to you in a voice note, I'm like, I need to see the tape and the audio. Like, don't just run me the tape where her leg went up, because everybody could have tried to lift their leg up sooner than her. But I'm like, I need him to say, I count you in.
Right. And when I'm done
now. Right. And I need to see her foot still down. Like, don't try to gas like me. But I don't know. Yeah. It could have been her foot was down, but I just need to see it. I don't trust people because I was like, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Like,
no, honestly. Yeah, especially when they said that he won that challenge the last time. I was like, ugh, they just want him to have a double P on this challenge. But I was so excited when it was Tiffany. I literally was about to, I'm like, Tiffany don't even know me, but I was about to pull out the phone and send her a voice note and just say, girl, I am so fucking proud of you. Like, I literally was in my kitchen cooking like, yes, my girl did it again. Same. She's safe. Oh my God, this is great. And she's not even being seen as a threat. Like, OMG. Yeah. And then they said, wait, gotta get on the bus. I was like, what the fuck didn't happen? At first I thought it was the twist that was about to start.
Oh no.
That's what I thought at first. I was like,
but I saw them votes pull up. I was like, damn, this can't be good. It can't be nothing but can't be good at all for any for Tiffany. It's just not good.
Yeah.
And I knew she knew that too. And I was like, damn. I'm like, did she touch? I didn't know where we were with stuff. So it is what it is. But it worked out in a good way. And it seems like also she got a little bit more connected with Jonathan, and that maybe she got a little working relationship that they can continue to build.
Which I need her to have, because I need her to have more people than just Cirie, you know?
Yeah. And I'm like, what happened to the Aubrey thing? Like I said, Aubrey, I lost faith in her.
Yeah, even this episode, Aubrey was like, "Oh, my anxiety," and I'm like, "Girl, it's still there. It's still high. It's still like not even no offense, but it just seems like she's still kind of operating in that, and like she's a little, I don't know, just like not in game mode, you know."
For sure. But she did a great job with this. She did a great job with this.
Yeah,
but also, she did a great job with this. With telling that, because I would have been there too, like, and he said she had this and that. And so the good thing about it all coming out and Ozzy going home, the only good thing is that Cirie did use her extra
right,
vote,
so it's no longer
it's not
something
floating,
that right,
and in that relationship is no longer a target, you know.
Correct.
It's no longer a target, but at the same time, Ozzy is no longer a big threat. Also ahead,
right,
not necessarily ahead of her, because I think she's the biggest threat. But I think everybody, if they're shooting, they're gonna shoot to Ozzy first, just like they did, you know.
Yeah.
And so now it's like she's right for the next up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm scared for Cirie. I'm scared, but also I'm trying not to have scared energy. I'm trying to have like optimistic.
Yes. Yeah. The preview seemed like the only good thing about the preview was everybody was getting shots thrown at them. Somebody said Tiffany's name in the preview. Somebody said Cirie's name in the preview. I think somebody said Rizzo's name in the preview. So it's like, it's names getting flown and shot out everywhere. It seemed like next episode.
I'm like, did I see the preview? I'm like, what?
That's basically that's all it was. That's literally all it was. I think Aubrey had said it was either Aubrey. I think Aubrey.
Yeah, I think
Tiffany's
I saw.
name.
Maybe I do remember seeing Aubrey say Cirie or something like that. Or because if Aubrey say Tiffany, I'd be like, girl.
Yeah, it was Tiffany. I think she said Tiffany. Like Tiffany is the biggest threat.
I thought it was somebody else who said it, but I don't know.
Either way, all these names are getting flown out. So next season,
I think it was Joe. I think Joe said Tiffany was the biggest.
Oh,
threat.
Was it Joe?
Okay. I think.
Girl, who said it don't even matter. We finna see it next week. But
I mean, I guess it helps you to see who is aligned with who and who's not. And Joe say at the little dinner he said with her when they run the immunity challenge together, I'm not coming. Your name's not coming out of my mouth. Honor, integrity, Mr. Honor, integrity as himself. Look, out here saying her name.
If it was him, I don't remember.
Think it was him. That's what my memory is showing. Look at me. 2 seconds ago, I couldn't remember.
So your memory right, mine is wrong.
Right. But girl,
let us know in the comments who right, because I don't watch us both be wrong. But
I'm like, when I be forgetting, but when I remember. You know, I think it was Joe.
So I be forgetting, so I ain't even gonna say it like I could be loud and wrong. But either way,
my
it
sister's
seems like
probably
a lot
watching
of
this.
people.
She's like, I know her. She will be loud and wrong, but today I'm right, sister. Okay. But
either way, it's a lot of names, getting thrown out. So next episode probably will be just as anxiety provoking for sure, especially because 2 people are likely going home because we only got 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're gonna get us a final 5, unless they just want to F with us and bring us final 6 in that final episode. But
yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else we haven't discussed on this episode? Like,
no.
The only other thing that I did want to say about this episode was that, like, Stephanie ass was stone faced when they brought her to the jury. You know what I'm saying? Stone face, like stone face.
Bitter bird.
She was not happy, but
it is what it is. She played her hand and she got it dealt. That's it. That's it.
Facts.
That's it. And good always wins at the end of the day. Good always wins.
I don't know.
I mean, even.
But yeah, no, I do believe in that.
But I'm just saying, like, even if it's somebody who didn't necessarily, like, it's like you always gonna get your comeuppance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always gonna get it. Even if somebody that's not the best person walked out with $1 million, it's not even gonna be spent right. It ain't gonna feel right. It ain't gonna manifest into nothing productive and good. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
Good always wins, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So
yeah. All right.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. All the great things, like we talked about before with Mr. Earl, will also be in the show notes where you can see all the things that he has going on. So check that out as well. And we will catch you for next week's episode. Bye.